Oh man, so Coinbase is being investigated for insider trading as the SEC calls 9 cryptocurrencies a security which are listed on Coinbase. Bitcoin up 1.3%, trying to break through some key levels. We've got some really important crypto updates for you today, which you're not going to want to miss. Smash up the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, if you want to buy any crypto, you can do so using the links in the description to BYBIT or BitGet, both affiliate links which support the channel. As you can see here, Bitcoin up 1.3%. We're going to come back to the key levels in the charts. I've got some really important updates, but first, as promised, guys, the SEC calls 9 cryptocurrencies as securities in insider trading case. Now, first, what's going on? Well, if you guys know, if you remember from many years ago, well, it happened since really the time. Anytime Coinbase would list a new crypto token, you would get what was referred to as a Coinbase effect. It was so powerful that it got its own name, the Coinbase effect. A token would be listed and you would see this coin absolutely pump after listing. Now, that has started to die out, and part of that has now been linked to potential insider trading. So you can see here, Ishan Wahi, a product manager at the cryptocurrency exchange, and his brother Nikhil were arrested in Seattle on Thursday. They are a third defendant. Their friend Samir, who remains at large, also faced civil charges from the U.S. financial conduct. Now, basically, this is a very typical case of insider trading. You know that the token's going to be listed. You work inside of Coinbase. You tell your friends, family, acquaintances, whoever's in on this with you, to go and buy the token. You benefit from the pump, and then you go ahead and sell it. And that's why I was always say to you guys, if you're watching my content for the longest period of time, we did that when Ada Cardano was listed on Coinbase. There was big hype leading up to it. I said, do not trade this. You will get buy the rumor, sell the news. And part of that is this pump and dump effect from people in the know who already know this information. So you've got to be very, very careful out there. Now, don't be surprised if this is not the only one. I bet this is happening at all major exchanges, and particularly even more so than just 1 or 2 people that they've managed to catch. This is why it's really important not to fall for these kind of surface level, superficial metrics like, oh, somebody's getting listed on Coinbase, I'm going to trade that move. You're more likely to get wrecked, because if you're getting news from mainstream media, you're too late, right? All these insiders have already made the moves they want to make. Well, exactly the same as it's with traditional finance, it's the same here. But what are these 9 cryptocurrencies I hear you waiting for? What are those 9 cryptocurrencies which, by the way, they're not even charging these cryptos, but just as part of this case, they've mentioned that these 9 are securities, which is pretty crazy from the SEC and the Department of Justice for them to just call out these 9 cryptocurrencies. And the ones they have listed are Flex's AMP, ROY, DDX, XYO, RGT, LCX, Power, DFX, and Crom. Okay, so they've gone ahead and listed these, are admittedly not the biggest cryptocurrencies, but the precedent they're setting here is huge. Because if you go down, Coinbase are adamant that they do not list anything which are securities, right? They say we do not list any coins which are deemed securities. So they're saying, hang on a second, we're not happy by what you've done. You should be focused on the insider trading case. This is not about deeming what is securities and what is not. But this is a little bit of a problem, because Coinbase are one of the most regimental in terms of their requirements for listing something on their platform, and they want to follow the rules of the SEC as closely as possible. You will have heard earlier on in the year they gave up their lend program. They wanted to do their lending program, but they gave that up after the SEC said they were unable to. So they definitely want to stay on the right side of the SEC, and they won't be happy that these tokens have been deemed securities. So we do need to be careful there if you're invested in any of these types of tokens. Also, Brian Armstrong, the CEO, came out and said, at Coinbase, we actively monitor for illegal activity and investigate any alleged misconduct. In April, we received information about possible front-running of assets shortly before being listed on Coinbase. We immediately launched an investigation into this. As a result of our investigation, we identified 3 suspects and provided this information to law enforcement. One person was a Coinbase employee who we terminated. Today, the Department of Justice has criminally charged this former employee and the other 2 individuals for this abusive conduct. Okay, now look, the reality is, as a CEO, you can put as many measures in place, right? But the reality is things get leaked. If you're Apple, eventually the next iPhone gets leaked, the next MacBook gets leaked, right? This stuff happens. And don't be surprised if it's continuing to happen and there'll be more people doing this at Coinbase. It's just how things go. Right, now, what is going on with the Bitcoin price? First and foremost, let's take a look at fear and greed. Fear and greed index is still sitting at 33. Things feeling much, much better from when they were down at 8. Things were really, really horrible then. So we've got this little bit of a vibe where people are feeling a little bit positive. People in the market getting that energy back. Your friends are starting to message you, say, yeah, what's going on with crypto? And we're like, okay, we know where we're at. We're not in extreme fear anymore. Some of those really low buy the dip opportunities have gone, but maybe they'll come back. That's what we need to wait for right now. Now, coming on to the international markets, we can see the pre-market is coming in a little bit red, okay? So we're seeing it's flat to red, right? So Dow Jones flat, S&P down 0.3, and the NASDAQ down 0.5%. So let's see how they open up. They're going to be weighing in on some of the earnings that are coming through. So we need to keep a close eye on that because Snapchat provided earnings and they missed. So the markets aren't taking too kindly than that. That is why the NASDAQ is getting impact. Remember, Bitcoin holds that correlation with the NASDAQ, so we need to keep an eye on it. Now, what are we getting here? Let's take a quick look here at the Bitcoin price. And as you can see with Bitcoin, we were in this bear flag, we broke to the upside, nice big move towards 24, and we got rejected exactly from that 24 position. It didn't help that we had the Tesla news over the last kind of 36 hours, and today we're trying to open this candle up in the green. Now, why is this level so important? Again, just to remind you, let's bring out the EMA ribbon here on the daily candle, and you can see exactly where we got rejected here. I'm going to just go into a cleaner chart to move some of these lines away for you. You can see exactly here where we got rejected from the top of our EMA ribbon avoided us from getting the close above our EMA ribbon. So we were unable to turn bullish. So now the trend continues to be with the bears, and this, whether people like it or not, would be the most likely outcome. We have to be impartial. Now, the beautiful thing is we are getting a little bit of a bounce here, and the question is, can we now go ahead and do this? Can we do that? Because if we get that close above the 24,000 level on a daily candle, we flip our daily EMA bullish, which is really, really good. Coming across to the weekly, this is the other important level, because where we're at right now still continues to be very far off trend, right? We're still very far away from our EMA ribbon here on the weekly. Let's just tidy that up a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to bring out the 200-week moving average. So let me just tidy this up a little bit. And this is the one I want to look at. So this, I want you to focus on just this one line here. Now, you guys remember I've spoken about this at length. This is your 200-week moving average, which has always acted as support for the Bitcoin price going back since time, right? It's always used that to bounce off. So we were very shocked when we closed below it. We did indeed close below it before here in the just in the COVID period, but then we quickly wicked back up in the following week. This time we've been below it for about 4 weeks now here in this period. And the question is, can we get this close above it? And that close above it will need to be above this 22,800 level. So where we're at right now is great, but we've still got 2 days and 14 hours to go. If we can get the close where we're at looking like now and the bears don't push us back down, this is good. We're getting back above our weekly 200-week moving average, and that could be a good sign for a bit of more of an impulse move to the upside. Let's also take a look from this perspective as well. And I'll switch across to the daily. You'll see that Bitcoin's been in this downtrend for a long time. We've got this nice breakout. This is what we're getting excited about. This is the good news. And it is good news. We've been unable to break the trend here, unable to break it here, unable to break it here. And finally, we get the breakout of trend. So it is something for us to get excited about. But the question now is, what's going to happen? Are we going to fall back here? Are we going to get a retest and bounce off? That would be the best case scenario. That is what we want to see, is we want to see something like this happen. What we don't want to see is us come back into this channel, because then the lower price targets start to come back into play here on Bitcoin. So we want to see some strength come in with good volume. Unfortunately, we're seeing declining volume here so far day on day, but let's see if we can get a big green day here to push us to the upside, and that would be really, really positive. And again, just one final way to look at it is if you're looking at it from this bear flag pattern, which we're monitoring, again, can we just come back down? Can we just get that little calling off? Can we get that retest and start working our way up? As you know, basically the key level here is 24,000. Can we get that daily close above 24,000? Can we at least close the weekly above 22,800? That is what we're looking for. Now, let's also take a look at a few on-chain metrics which popped up on my radar. And the first one I want to show you is the hodler waves. And what's interesting here is over 80% of the USD wealth is now being held over 3 months. Okay, so we're getting some good hodlers now. which is really, really important. And again, you can see that this typically only happens at the end of bear markets, that we get above that 80% mark, right? And we stay there for a little while. And that's the point I've made. If you've not watched my on-chain analysis video, I highly recommend you go and watch that, because I go through a whole bunch of on-chain metrics and we ticked off a whole bunch of criteria that prove that Bitcoin is hitting the criteria for being at a bottom. But the only question that remains, which we try to delve deeper into, is how long are we going to be in this bottom for, right? Like, how much longer do we need to be? Because if you look at this 2015 bear, we were at these levels for a long time. If you look at the 2018 bear, we were there for a decent amount of time. And if you look where we're at now, we've only just whipped into the territory that could be classed as forming that bottom of the bear market. So I'm going to link that video up for you guys here. Don't forget to hit up the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to check out BitGet and BYBIT, links in the description. Watch this on-chain video, and I'll see you in that one.